The Christmas Eve Proposal. The air was crisp and snowflakes danced through the chilly night as people gathered in the town square for the annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony. The towering tree, decorated with shimmering lights and colourful ornaments, stood as the centrepiece of the celebration. Laughter and joyful chatter filled the air, but for Mike, his heart was pounding for a different reason. He took a deep breath, slipping his hand into the pocket of his coat to feel the small velvet box hidden there. Tonight was the night. He was going to propose to his girlfriend Ella right in front of the Christmas tree, surrounded by the glow of 1,000 twinkling lights. They had been together for years, and this was the moment he had been waiting for. Ella stood beside him, her cheeks rosy from the cold, her eyes sparkling with excitement as the crowd counted down to the lighting. Mike's heart raced as he tried to steady his nerves. He had rehearsed this moment 100 times in his head, but now that it was finally here, he could hardly believe it. As the crowd chanted in unison, Mike took Ella's hands in his, looking into her eyes. "Ella," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "I have something to ask you." Ella's eyes widened, realizing what was happening, a soft gasp escaping her lips. As Mike pulled out the velvet box and opened it to reveal the ring, the lights on the tree suddenly flickered and went dark. The crowd let out a collective gasp as everything plunged into darkness for a moment. In his sudden panic, Mike lost his grip and the ring slipped from his fingers, disappearing into the snow at their feet. "No, no, no!" Mike muttered frantically, dropping to his knees to search for the ring. The snow sparkled under the dim glow of streetlights, making it almost impossible to find the tiny piece of jewellery. Ella knelt down beside him, worry etched on her face. Mike was beside himself, feeling like the perfect moment had just slipped through his fingers. Suddenly, a shadow loomed over them. "Is this what you're looking for?" said a warm voice. Mike looked up to see an older man with a kind, weathered face standing before him, holding the missing ring between his gloved fingers. The stranger's eyes twinkled with a mysterious light, and his smile was calm and reassuring. "Yes, oh my gosh, thank you!" Mike exclaimed, feeling a wave of relief wash over him. He took the ring from the stranger's hand, his fingers trembling. I don't know how to thank you." The man simply smiled wider, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "No need to thank me. Christmas is a time for miracles after all." He gave Mike a nod and then melted into the crowd before Mike could say another word. The lights on the tree suddenly flickered back to life, bathing the square in a warm, golden glow. The crowd cheered, and Mike turned back to Ella, still on one knee, holding the ring. "Ella," he said, his voice steady now, "will you marry me?" Tears filled Ella's eyes as she nodded, her hands covering her mouth. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes!" The crowd erupted in applause as Mike slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her into a tight embrace. It felt like the entire world had stopped for a moment, just for them. The tree sparkled above them and the snow continued to fall softly, creating a picture-perfect scene. As they celebrated, Mike scanned the crowd for the stranger who had saved his proposal, but he was nowhere to be seen. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Mike couldn't shake the feeling that the man had been more than just a passerby. Perhaps he was right. Christmas was indeed a time for miracles. Later that night, as they walked home hand in hand, Mike told Ella what had happened. "You know," she said softly, "I think that man was sent to help us, like a Christmas angel." Mike nodded, squeezing her hand. "I think you're right. And tonight, I realized that sometimes the magic of Christmas shows up when you least expect it." As they strolled through the quiet streets, the town's Christmas lights sparkling around them, Mike and Ella knew they would always remember this Christmas Eve as the night that was touched by a little bit of holiday magic.